Christina Rossetti's poem, The Goblin Market, is an unusually long poem with a tremendous amount of description. But it is a poem that encapsulates both a number of feminist themes along with some Christian themes of redemption. The poem follows the story of two girls, Lizzie and Laura, who perhaps uncoincidentally have very similar names to show that they deal with similar temptations as they represent generic women during the Victorian age. The two of them are tempted by goblin men that they pass to buy their fruits. Over the course of the poem, one of the characters, Laura, ends up making a mistake and decides to purchase the fruit of the goblin men against her sister's recommendation. As a result, she ends up becoming not only physically ill, but emotionally bankrupt as well. She suffers and ages prematurely until finally Lizzie decides that she must do something to help her sister. Ultimately, Lizzie goes to purchase fruit for Laura, but ends up getting challenged. Lizzie attempts to purchase the fruit, but ultimately the goblins insist that she sample it. Finally, they end up attacking her in a brutal scene that turns the fairy tale tone of the poem into something much more violent, almost something that reminds the reader of a gang rape or a sexual assault. However, Lizzie resists the temptation and ends up walking home proudly with a martyr's pride. She goes home, and then there's a very fascinating section of the poem where Lizzie, as she ministers to Laura, heals her by allowing Laura to kiss her and to absorb the juices that have been splattered on her face by the attacking goblins. There's one particular passage that seems particularly theologically redolent of Christian ideas about redemption and sacrifice. It says, Laura started from her chair, flung her arms up in the air, and says, Lizzie, Lizzie, have you tasted for my sake the fruit forbidden? Must your light like mine be hidden, your young life like mine be wasted, undone in mine undoing, and ruined in my ruin? Here we have something very, very close to a confession of a young person to God of her own sin and a grief that someone had to suffer in her place. So the messianic quality of the poem is revealed in this passage. However, at the end of the poem, there's also a section that alludes to the fact that women need to protect each other. For as the women age and have their own children, the poem suggests, here at the end, there is no friend like a sister in calm or stormy weather, to cheer one on the tedious way, to fetch one if one goes astray, to lift one if one totters down, to strengthen whilst one stands. Some scholars have therefore commented that the poem is also a story about the importance of women protecting each other from men who want to destroy the life in them, to age them prematurely, and to ruin their reputations. So the poem, on both a level of Christian symbolism and a level of feminist symbolism, is very successful at conveying the temptations that women faced and the importance of women resisting them for the sake of their future prosperity.